Attention. We do accept super chats and memberships, and all money earned goes directly back into the channel to allow for more giveaway, prizes, and perks for our viewers and listeners. The cost of running shows like this can be expensive and timely, but we do it for you. If you can help support the channel, we greatly appreciate it. But if you can't, all we ask is that you use your social media to share and support that way. We love you and thank you in advance. We would also like to thank our channel members. We have Saggy Melons, Benson's, Resident Justice, Prakash Swain, DC Talk with Extended, That One Carlos, Caden Reed, Nick Carr, John Rodell, Justin Hines, Billy Robert, Adam Silvestri, Kinky Sphincter, Sean Adame, Nick DePalma, Roblox Marvel Ultimate, and Rhea. And always remember, be respectful. Wait. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen and genders all across the spectrum, to today's episode of Jivin with Jack. We're talking Daredevil. We're talking the confirmation of Shang-Chi 2. We're also going to talk about some new photos from the set of Black Adam. Plus, West Side Story has been banned in certain countries. I'm sure you can guess what those countries are. And if we have time, I got to see House of Gucci over the weekend. We'll talk about that too. Plus, the boys are going to have a spin-off show called Diabolical. Sounds very interesting. But first, I have an important announcement to make. My days at Pop Culture Corner may be few. For those of you who watch the news, which is probably none of you, CNN has fired their anchor, Chris Cuomo. And I have applied for the job to take over the 9 p.m. slot on CNN. I know what you're going to say, Jack. You're not qualified. And the truth is, I am not. But the truth also is that no one at CNN is really qualified. So I would probably be overqualified for that spot. So hopefully this New Year's, I will be next to Anderson Cooper as the new host of the 9 p.m. slot on CNN called Gesticulating with Jack. Get it trending. But until then, I will continue to do Jiving with Jack with my co-host, Lean Mean. Oh, wait, no, that's Caden Reed. See, I'm so used to saying Caden instead of Austin. Austin Lean. 316.
What is up, man? What is up?
Caden, but you know.
Yeah, I know. I've been I missed a couple weeks and a couple days and the busy bobbity busy. I was busy with the bobs and the Kleenex in the face, and I dragged her to the room and she didn't know. Busy bobbity. Hey man, how you doing? Good to see you as always.
Good to see you too, man. We actually had a little bit of controversy Thursday. Last week was just controversy week because y'all know what happened Tuesday, and then Thursday Disney.
First of all, I did want to say congratulations on your and applying for the job.
Yes.
I mean, as you said, I'm pretty sure you're overqualified. Cuomo certainly wasn't qualified, so. But you know, man, if you need a co-host or an Andy Richter or anything in the background, I'll gladly be there. Red Bull, sponsored by Red Bull, or at least want to be sponsored by Red Bull. Thank you, Red Bull.
Isn't that an idea? Hey, CNN, have two hosts. Let's Regis and Kathy it.
Exactly. You know? I'll be your Kathy. You be Regis. I'll wear a dress. It'll be we will change the way that late night news is done. There you go.
Absolutely. CNN. And we won't even grab any women inappropriately, like none of us. So that's a step up. Good thing.
No. I mean, I will have fake breast implants, and God knows what the other CNN anchors will do to me, but I'll just probably let it happen.
Yeah. Listen, last Thursday, Disney took down our episode because we showed a 10-minute clip. We actually didn't show all 10 minutes. We showed a clip of Daredevil, even though it's fair use. We were analyzing the scene, but they got upset. I don't know what magic Ty pulled, but he was able to get the episode restored. So we want to thank you guys for sticking for the show. Did very well despite being taken down for about a day or so. Let's say hi to the stream. Who do we have here? We have the great Adam Silvestri. Adam, that's going to be one of the topics today.
Yes.
Adam's here. Sam Williams says, I think he'll be in it. Tyler Roberts is here. He said, never mind. He said to ignore that. I think Daredevil will have a brief cameo, probably. Folks, make sure to smash the like button, and hit subscribe. I thought I saw someone else here. Yes, Benson. You won't be applying for the role of Daredevil. You need a tablecloth for that forehead. I actually use a scarf for that forehead, baby.
I actually use a scarf.
I use my mom's scarf because it was black. It was transparent. And I could
like a bandana. Like a bandana. Yeah.
And so I could see through it. So I could still see it even with it on. It was actually a pretty cool costume. It's the one that he wears when he doesn't have his costume, where it's like the black cloth and like the ropes around his face. It actually looked pretty cool. All I had to do was just go to Modell's and get the black shirt and the black matching sweatpants, put on a pair of boots. Boom! I'm Daredevil.
You're set. You're there. You are. You're Daredevil. There you go.
Yeah. But So how did your weekend go?
It was good, man. It was a nice, relaxing, calm weekend. Well, actually, yeah, no, it was pretty nice. Went over to a friend's house and we did like our little, stoner friend group Christmas
orgy.
Orgy, yes, no, night, and basically we just got really, really high and we watched a great movie called The Night Before, starring it's Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. Okay,
It is a stoner Christmas comedy, and it is it's great. It's great, man. There's a whole scene where Seth Rogen's character takes like mushrooms and then cocaine and then a bunch of other psychedelics, and then basically what happens is he goes to church with his wife and then starts talking to the nativity scene in front of the church like they're actual people. So he's talking to the shepherd and he's like trying to figure out his maps. He's like, hey, could you help me figure this out? And the shepherd's like talking back to him in his head. It's great. You should it's definitely a must watch.
I was about to click on that. Awesome. What do you got behind that white door?
Oh, that's that. So I can. I mean, well, if I get up, you all see my. I'm one of those streamers that I'm professional on the top and casual on the bottom. So I got my nice. It's basically it's just the air condition. I got my air condition, chilling over there. Yeah, and that's the vent that goes outside.
Actually, because it's not like folding, it looks like a door, almost like the Indian in the cupboard type of thing. But Friday night, I saw a movie that I surprisingly enjoyed a lot. Might be in my top 5. The House of Gucci.
Yeah, man, I still got to see it. I really want to see it.
It reminds me also of a Scorsese movie because it doesn't have your typical like 3-act or 5-act structure. It's just you're following these characters. Dude, Lady Gaga, I always thought she was a good actress, but in this, she is great. Adam Driver's great. Pacino's in it. He's great as always.
Jared Leto,
damn. I didn't know that was him. I'm looking at him like, that guy looks like Jared Leto. Nah. And then in the movie, I'm on IMDb looking it up, like, that is Jared Leto.
Yep.
And then I'm like,
much older character person.
Yeah. He's over the top and it works. It's intentionally an over the top character, but that was a great thing. So, by the way, I know you stole my topics for today by doing it before me last night.
Kind of what? No, so last night's stream was a lot of fun. Definitely check it out on the Little Big City Studios network, which, by the way, we just crossed 100 subscribers last night. Thank you so much. Shout out Saggy Melons. She's the best. She sent over some subs, and that was really sweet of her from her stream because she was stream sniping me and trying to get some reaction.
He's over the corner too. See, we like to keep it all in the family.
We keep it all in the family here and stuff, and yeah. So it was Justin tuned in last night for a little bit, and we had Matt Jarbo on the show with us, and it was great. We did talk a little bit about what we were supposed to talk about, but it was mainly just a fun, chill conversation, and it was great. So definitely, you just want to have a good time, a good listen. It's nice quick hour, I think, in 20 minutes or something.
Nice.
Me, Jarbo, and Caden just having a good time and talking things out. So anyone notice Amy Pascal looking at dude, she looks I saw the funniest. She looks, first of all, she looks like, if anyone's from Vegas or knows Vegas, she looks like Carrot Top. Her hair is
I remember Carrot Top doing the commercials like 1-800 call ATT. Oh my God. But yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. We do have a lot to talk to you about.
We do.
We have a lot to speak about with you and us.
Yes, Justin Hines tuned in just in time for the biological warfare topic, in which we were talking about sending samples of Saggy's. Well, we were talking about the smell of her. Anyways, you can probably assume. Anyways, but yeah, Amy Pascal looking wild.
Yeah. Maybe, but you know what? If she can give us 3 more Spider-Man movies, she'll be my BFF. But let's talk about why we're here today. I know you talked about it a little bit last night, but we're going to talk a little bit about Daredevil. So, courtesy of our friend John Campia, who watermarked photos, was that one of them? The one with supposedly, possible spoiler. Yeah, there it is. We're not going to show too much. Matt Murdock. We don't know if that's an actual photo or not. We've heard rumors he's going to be in it. That aside, our dear friend Kevin Feige has said, if we're going to do Daredevil, Charlie Cox, yes, would be the actor playing Daredevil. He told Cinema Blend. Where we see that, how we see that, when we see that remains to be seen. Now, he kind of chuckled. Right. Next to him kind of chuckled because I think that's their way of saying you're going to see him very, very soon. Now, to answer Adam Silvestri or Sam Williams' comments, or even Billy Roberts, will he have a big role if he's in Spider-Man No Way Home? My answer is no. Probably. He might have an important role. He might be the lawyer. You might see him in the last 2 minutes show up. But do I think he's going to be a central part of the character, and this is his way of introducing him? His cameo might be like Wilson Fisk's cameo in the last episode of Hawkeye, where you just might see him for like maybe a little bit longer. But let's talk about it. Do you think he'll be in Daredevil or in Spider-Man? How big a role is it? Do you think he shows up in a post-credit scene? I'll represent you, or
I definitely think he's in Spider-Man. It just makes sense and stuff. Look, I mean, Amy Pascal's the Rachel Dolezal. Oh God. But no, I definitely think he's in there. Like I said, it makes sense. These are 2 characters from New York in the comics. You know, there's a lot of fan want, I think, to see those 2 characters together. So it just, like I said, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I think now the question is, you know, what is, you know, with dealing with the multiverse, what's canon, what's not, how, you know, how much are they going to be referencing the older seasons of Daredevil or older, whatever. Those are the main questions, I think, right now. Right now, we know he's there. I think, look at that. Oh my gosh, man. Seriously, some of the best Marvel TV we've gotten ever.
Oh, yeah.
Surpasses all the Disney Plus shows.
I mean, I said this before. There's nothing really in the Daredevil show that would mess with the established canon.
They even reference the incident, right? In the Avengers, they talk about it. So it's not like it's completely, you know, out there of an idea to bring them in. Like I said, I think what the conversation is how are these because these characters were treated very, very seriously and very realistically on those shows, and you know, very gritty, mature audience. So to me, how how are they going to transfer that?
Well, here's my thing. Before I answer that, well, I don't think it'd be good for him to be on Disney Plus because you're going to get a watered down. I mean, I'm not saying it still can't be a good show, but it's got to be at least TV 14. And Daredevil was TVMA. Now, does a show need to be TVMA to be good? No. Daredevil had no sex or any kind of like vulgarity. It was just violent and showed his villains as violent. You can't even get away with half of that stuff on Disney Plus. Again, I suggest Hulu. So here is my suggestion. I suggested it a while ago, even before you joined, how they should bring Daredevil in and how they should bring in Wilson Fisk in. Season 3 of Daredevil was the last time we saw these characters. It was 2018. There's no reference to the snap, which at that point had happened in Infinity War. So this is Jack's suggestion. Kevin, take it for free. The snap happened after season 3. Daredevil was snapped away.
What's up, Casey?
Maybe the other characters were snapped away. But you know who was not snapped away? Wilson effing Fisk. Now, hear me out.
Oh, yeah.
It's been about almost 5 years since the show ended. Matt Murdock, it comes back during the events of Avengers Endgame. He's one of the people snapped back, brought back to life. And this dude is not only out of jail, he's got a mega corporation. He is now the kingpin that we know from the comics, where he has a corporation, he's got a tower, he's kind of seen as like a good philanthropist. And that's cue Matt Murdock. She'll be like, well, where's Matt Murdock been for the last 5 years? He was snapped away. And while he was snapped away, someone who was not snapped away, Wilson Fisk, got out of jail and was able to do whatever he wanted. He is now consolidated. All the things he could not do because of Daredevil, he was able to do because of the snap and because Matt Murdock was gone. Right. I think that'd be a great way to kind of reintroduce the characters. You don't necessarily, I mean, are there some loose ends from the show like the Hand or whatever happened to Elektra? Yes. But again, they don't affect the greater MCU. They don't affect the films really. So that's my theory. I like it, and I'm sticking with it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea at all. I think for me, the main thing is kind of like
exactly Casey. Look, so that backs it up.
Yeah, we kind of know Kingpin didn't get because the track.
So if he's there, and in the 5 years since Infinity War.
Exactly.
Daredevil's gone. Who's going to stop him? Who? If it weren't for Daredevil, Fisk would have gotten away with everything. He controlled the FBI. He controlled the Department of Justice. Imagine he gets out of jail again. It's sort of like, did you ever see Superman Returns? One of the ideas was that because Superman left, Lex Luthor was able to get out of jail. He was able to become a billionaire again. There was no one to stop him. And so now Wilson Fisk isn't the underworld kingpin. He's like a King of New York type of thing. Like, people love him. He's like a great political figure. Everyone loves him. He hands out free turkeys.
I would love that. That would be a great. And for me, I think a big thing is I want to see Kingpin with Spider-Man as well, because he is a Spider-Man villain. And this is a great way to start getting the audience ready and introducing them to that serious tone and stuff for Spider-Man, getting him in Hawkeye. I'm sure there's going to be some connection as to what's going on in Hawkeye and what's happening in No Way Home. Let's see. Noah said, I watch Paramount Plus, including Star Trek Picard.
I will be covering Picard when that comes out, Noel. Maybe not on time with Jack, but
I will be joining Metaverse here to cover the Game Awards, I believe, on Thursday. But RJ, hey, what's up, everyone? I slept for like 16 hours. I know, dude. I've been messaging you and he ain't responding. I'm like, this dude is sleeping. I don't know what day it is anymore.
Schedules.
Yo, no, like RJ and I stream like in dummy hours, so I understand it. But Robot Picard, but Kingpin is definitely showing up.
Basically, let you know, Picard technically died, and they had the whole story of season 1 of Picard is androids. They create a flesh and blood android and transfers consciousness into that. So technically he is an android, but it's still his soul in it. Because one of the questions in the season 1 are androids, if they have sentience, are they new life? Star Trek deals with that kind of stuff. So it is him, but he's in a new body. Paramount Plus is decent. I like it better than CBS All Access. I do like it. But anyway, here's my thing. If it's Kevin Feige, it's going to be on Disney Plus. Does Hulu still have their Marvel stuff, the Runaways?
They do, but here's the thing: everything on Hulu is trash.
Yeah.
As far as Marvel is concerned, the MODOK series was terrible. The Runaways is terrible. Cloak and Dagger is terrible. Hulu has not had any success with their Marvel shows, and I would think if I were Kevin Feige, I would have a lot of concern of wanting to put my Marvel stuff connected to the MCU on Hulu. So I do not see a show like Daredevil or these that are gonna be more mature like Moon Knight. I don't see them going on Hulu.
Really? Okay.
No, not at all. I think what we're gonna see is either you're gonna get a bit of a toned down version, Disney Plus. You're not gonna get the blood. You're not gonna get, or all the blood, all the gore. Or they'll introduce something, like a parental accounts. They might bring Disney Star over to the U.S. There's options, but
do you think? Look, we know Blade is coming
going to Hulu. That's but I do want to say, because there's a lot of people. The chat kind of lit up. Well, IDK RJ says IDK Kingpin will be in this episode tonight, but I expect him by episode 5. Anthony says, hello, what's up, Anthony? The Halo TV series, yes. The Game Awards on Thursday, yes. Meta, I'll be covering them with Meta Thursday night. I agree with Austin. Yeah, those shows are terrible. Yep. I haven't seen that Hit Monkey show.
Discovery, I agree with. Picard, I still have hope for. Discovery, I still watch it, and I still support it because of Star Trek, but I have severe issues with it. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I let's see. I think if Marvel Studios starts producing Hulu shows, it could change the tides, because before it was the old guard making stuff for Hulu. Yeah, but I just don't see. Look, Feige is the type of guy that he wants everything in one place. He wants it all connected. He wants the fans to be able to go to Disney Plus and watch whatever is connected to the current MCU there in one spot, not have to go to Hulu and watch, something else.
You don't even think
no, and FX is. They announced yesterday FX is ending their deal with Hulu, so it's
that's fine, but it's still owned by Disney, right?
Yeah, I think so. Fox. Yeah, but they have no
Daredevil and even Punisher. I mean, because they do. You don't think so?
Make sense.
I've been thinking of watching that, because apparently they keep resubscribing me to Apple TV. I'm like, crap.
And I've been seeing so
like the trailers. He's kind of brought up my thing, and this is something you said. I don't know if I want a look. I don't need to be like the Punisher. Like the Punisher was, there was a lot of sex in it. There was a lot of, but in the first season, Daredevil is fighting Russians who are trafficking women. And by the way, this is not something in comic books. This is a real life thing that happens. Literally, one of his first appearances when you first meet Turk, they have a cargo hold full of women that are going to be used as sex slaves. This is really real life gritty stuff that he deals with. And this is, I don't know if I want it to be like WandaVision. I'm okay with the tone of WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. But what makes this character so great is that this character is always pushed to the limits, And I don't know if you can do that if Kingpin is toned down. Look, can you write good PG-13 violence? Yeah, The Dark Knight is a good example of where, the violence is a lot of the times implied. With the Joker, you don't actually see him slice someone's mouth open. It cuts away. But I don't know if Disney would even do that. And, a couple of weeks ago, we saw, was it called a call sheet, Kate? I think that's what it's called, where, they're saying, we're looking for writers for a possible Daredevil series. I'm like, okay, they want to Disney-fy it, which really worries me, because it could still be a good show, but they have very good writers. I don't know if they're under contract with Netflix. I would say hire them and make it as TV-14 as possible, but don't tone it down significantly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's not, and here's the thing, besides certain scenes and sections, right? You have the Punisher jail scene that was pretty brutal, and other than that, you can still get away with a lot. We're seeing, a great example. Here's a great example. Is and Anthony says Hulu is bum. Daredevil will appear in costume in a Disney Plus show, which is the most lighthearted and funny thing on that service yet. In costume in a Disney. Well, okay. Well, that's the thing. Like in his own show, he's gonna appear in costume or stuff. Because I've been hearing the different rumors of like. It's he's not going to appear in costume in other shows until it's his own or things like that. But I mean, if he's in a lighthearted environment, that's gonna be.
I mean, Karen Page flat out kills Wilson Fisk's #1 guy, Wesley. I mean, it's self-defense, but even that, they don't want their heroes to do that. And Bullseye was pretty scary. The guy stalks a woman, and then Kingpin kills that woman to blame it on Daredevil. I mean, again, that doesn't have to be violent, but there is a level of intensity. When Bullseye shows up at the church and kills the priest, even if it's done in a PG-13 manner, I don't see Disney telling those kind of stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to tell the Frank Miller Daredevil or the Brian Michael Bendis Daredevil, unless, as you suggested, they need to create an R-rated line because Disney now owns some pretty big franchises, including Alien.
So then here's the
Predator.
thing. So Casey says that he's in She-Hulk in costume. Okay, so She-Hulk, we know, like you said, super lighthearted.
And that's okay.
Gonna break the fourth wall. I'm okay with that as long as his character is still the humor has to work around the character that they've already established.
Yeah.
For me,
because they did it a little bit in Defenders. There was a little bit of humor, not from Daredevil, but from other people. Like Luke Cage is like, "I'm not gonna hug you," and he's just like, he kind of puts his head down. Like,
right.
That worked, but
that's fine.
I'm fine with it.
Like I said, it's got to work around the already. So we know Daredevil isn't gonna crack jokes.
Yeah,
but he can he can react in his character. He can things like that. Let's see.
Oh yeah. So Ty's thinking of getting a new car. Dude, get on that because my lease is up and they're telling us get on it now because of the supply chain issue. Like new cars are not coming in quickly. So folks, call your local dealership and get on it now. My sister's already putting money down on her car when her lease is up next year or end of next year. So sorry. But
I know. If
he shows up in Spider-Man, I'm not expecting Spider-Man to now take the tone of Daredevil. But what I'm saying is if he does get his own show or his own film, I'd rather have a show. It doesn't have to be exactly like the Netflix show, but there is a level of intensity, a level of drama and writing. Remember the scene we showed last week on Thursday? There were no jokes in that moment. When Wilson Fisk takes Matt Murdock's head and starts banging it into the table, he doesn't come back with a quip. He's actually kind of scared of Kingpin. Like, you're scared of Kingpin. And sometimes, a lot of times in Marvel movies, you have a villain who's supposed to be intimidating and scaring, and they make a quip. It kind of takes away from the seriousness of it. Because, okay, our hero's not really afraid of the bad guy. So why should I be? You know what I mean? And that's okay. That works. That's the MCU formula. We didn't see the one movie we didn't see that in was Black Panther. You never saw T'Challa making jokes at Killmonger or vice versa. That's why Killmonger worked really well as a villain because he wasn't making quips. He was a serious, bad mother effer. And no point in joking or making quips. He is out to start total war. And that's why he's a good villain. One of the reasons.
Anthony says, bring back Ben as Daredevil.
Multiverse. And when he comes in, wake me up inside. Could you imagine if Marvel decided to hire Ben Affleck as Daredevil just to spite the Warner Brothers? Just like, yeah, we want Ben Affleck back. Evanescence just put out a new album. We're going to buy that whole soundtrack. Suck it, Warner Brothers. And just have, like Kevin Feige said, we think the idea of Ben Affleck playing a superhero is great. We can't imagine someone letting him go and then just sip like a mug that says WB Tears.
WB Tears. Ha! Savagery.
But
Savagery.
So we're probably
or Snyder fan tears, whichever.
Or Snyder fans. But listen, how far if they do a Daredevil show, forget what network it's going to be on or which device. A year, 2023, maybe.
Possibly. I'm not going to discount it.
I mean,
You know,
shows
it's
are
gonna.
made pretty quickly. Hypothetically, if they're already writing it, they can start
Yeah.
filming spring.
Ben is already working with
Oh
Disney
yeah,
for what? I'm trying to think for what.
I don't know. Yeah, he is working with Disney on something. You know why? Because we reported it on this damn show, and I don't remember what it was. I remember
He's
saying,
directing something.
For
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, I think it's a Disney Plus show or no, Disney Plus movie. I'm not sure, but it's definitely something for Disney, and he's directing it. And I think he's also a writer on it as well.
okay,
I wonder
well,
if
there
it's
you go.
was
They
it.
should like
Let me
whatever
look it
Batman
up.
Day is.
Was
They
it-
should like.
Hold on, I want to guess before. Is it 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Oh my god. No,
No.
it's
I
the
feel like
Keeper of the Lost Cities.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. It's just like
Yeah.
a yes. Yeah.
I want Marvel
Somebody needs to get on
on
that.
Batman Day just to say Happy Batman Day and put a picture of Ben Affleck.
Here-
Not even
here-
a picture.
Here's
of
a
Batman.
curiosity, Casey. If you have any knowledge on this, just because I've been following this Disney project for years, and well, I guess it was at Disney or it was at Fox, and then it went to Disney, so it's technically at Disney now.
Yeah.
And that was they were gonna do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with David Fincher in talks to direct and Brad Pitt to star.
That's Captain Nemo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, I was like, yeah, that's my type of movie right there. Give me that. David Fincher, man, like that dark tone with nice, like big CGI epic, like, you know, kind of like you could think to the scenes he did in Benjamin Button when they're in the ocean and stuff. I was like,
So wait, is Keeper of the Lost Cities connected to that, or is it its own thing?
Not at all. Not at all. It's its own thing. Ben is
by Shannon Messenger.
Ben is doing, I guess it is more of like a kid centered film thing, which is cool.
I didn't see that one that he directed and starred where he played like a detective, where it was like a set in the 40s. I don't know what it was.
Live by Night.
By Night. I didn't see that, but Argo, really good. You know,
Argo, The Town is one of the best films.
The only thing is that when you're a director, you need to basically commit about 3 years of your life because you're doing pre-production, production, and post-production. As an actor, you just do the production.
Well, and he's usually director, writer, producer, and star.
Yeah, so
you can imagine.
People used to make jokes in the late 90s when he won the Oscar for Good Will Hunting. Because Ben Affleck at that time was a very, pretty boy new to the scene. Everyone's like, oh, I bet Matt Damon does all the writing and he just got credit for it. Family Guy even did a skit in like 1999 where it shows Matt Damon writing and Ben Affleck's just sitting there sleeping. I think we can, those who said that in the 90s can take it back that Ben Affleck is actually a very talented writer and director. You should make a Batman movie.
Right. I mean, hey, if he's doing something for, Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, it's another example of talent being let go by Warner Brothers, and other people are like, "We'll take that talent." Netflix is like, "We'll take Henry Cavill," but you know what? I gotta say, do you think it was always the plan to bring him back as Daredevil? Because this is my feeling, that after 2018, after Netflix said they were severing all ties with Marvel, that they probably were like, you know what, we're just gonna go ahead and do our own Daredevil in the MCU. But I think the fans, there's a lot of big fan groups on social media that love that Daredevil show. They're not defending everything. Like, they're not defending all of Jessica Jones or all of Luke Cage. The actor who plays Luke Cage has already moved on. He's on a show called Evil, which is phenomenal. He's great in it.
Right.
He plays someone trained to become a priest. But it's hashtag Save Daredevil. And I think the movement was big enough, worldwide enough, that Marvel, unlike other film studios, saw the fan movement and was like, all right, okay. They like Charlie Cox. They like Vincent D'Onofrio. Why don't we reintroduce them in sort of a soft reboot kind of way where we don't acknowledge the first 3 seasons, but we also don't disregard them? Like, it'll be a situation where it's not like, oh, crap, to see the new Daredevil show, I have to see the first 3 seasons. They could easily say Kingpin and Matt Murdock have history. Leave it at that.
Right. They could very much do something like that. I mean, for me, I don't know. I've heard different rumors and different things that I don't know are true or not, but from what I've heard is like Feige wasn't necessarily, besides Daredevil, like, besides that show and Charlie Cox, he wasn't really a fan of the other the shows, so he wasn't like actively looking to.
Maybe he's a prude. He doesn't like that there was like, sex in it.
Well, I don't know. No. I think it could be that, or maybe he just, doesn't know because they're so brutal and violent, and there's different. They're so outside of the Marvel thing. He's probably like, how
he
can
likes.
I connect this?
He likes. I mean, Luke Cage. Everyone talked about how Black Panther gave a lot of black representation on the big screen. On the small screen, I thought it was Luke Cage. It was set in Harlem. It talked about the culture of Harlem that me, as someone who's not a New Yorker, may not be too familiar with. When I saw that nightclub and Faith Evans is singing, I'm like, oh my God, I remember Faith Evans. It captured an essence of culture, of black culture in New York that really you don't see anywhere else. So, and by the way, I liked the second season of Luke Cage. A lot of people did not. I enjoyed it. I had some slow episodes. I can say that about most TV shows on Netflix. Iron Fist, either which way, I think that character, I know the character has always been Caucasian in the comics, but I think that character has outlived its usefulness. I think they should reboot it, and it's not good when your side characters are more interesting. Like his girlfriend, Colleen Wing, is more interesting than he. Jessica Jones just needed better writers. They had a great first season. Second season, I tuned off. And is there another one I'm missing, or is that it? Jessica Jones, Luke Cage,
Iron Fist. That's it.
And then there was a Punisher. Yeah, there was a Punisher.
Right, Punisher. Now Punisher is going to be the big one. I think.
Yeah.
When they announced that John Bernthal is coming back as Punisher, I think then we can probably say. I don't know.
He put out a statement. He said the character has to be done justice to. They're not going to bring him back and put him in.
No, he said they can't. He says he doesn't want them to change.
Yeah.
The character. And so he wants to continue playing it from where he left off.
Yeah.
So I think if we'll know if Marvel comes out and says, "Oh, John Bernthal is back," then we can probably safely assume, okay, Marvel has figured out some way.
Yeah, but do you think they again would tone him down? Because
that's what I'm saying. Like we'll
children and the young people
want
to make long-term. If you want to make young people who aren't familiar with the Punisher,
but here's the thing now. Marvel is moving into territory where they're dealing with characters that aren't for kids. They have for so long dealt with the family-friendly characters, the Avengers and all of these and blah, blah, blah. We're moving into Blade. We're moving into Deadpool. We're moving into, Daredevil and Moon Knight. And we'll see how they deal with that. Look, like you said, these can be PG-13. They can push those limits and still be pretty dark. If you saw the clip from Morbius that they released this weekend, Sony released a 3-minute clip from Morbius of like his first breakout and stuff, and it's freaking brutal. Really? I sat there, dude, and it's PG-13, and I literally was like, why in the hell is Venom not doing this?
Yeah.
Because they show you when he drags the body and the blood drags across the floor. They show a guy get his neck sliced and he's holding it and the blood squishing out through his they did a lot of stuff that I was really like, oh, you really? Dude, I could have, like I said, on that clip.
Yeah.
If I didn't know anything about the movie, I would say it's rated R.
But here's the thing, they can do hard PG-13. I just don't know if Disney Plus will do hard PG-13. Right. Because they know a lot of kids watch it. That's why what's it called? Disney Stars, you said, where they have they have Family Guy on there, don't they? On Disney Plus?
No, Simpsons is on there.
Simpsons is on there, but I think Family Guy might be coming on. Like, that's a show where, there's a lot in there. Either they will censor it. Okay, it's on FXX, so they can't do Family Guy. There are too many episodes, even within a TV-14 context, where they push the envelope of what they can get away with. And I'm like, I'm not against them having a separate channel within Disney Plus. They already have Hulu, but you don't think they're going to do Hulu. They need to have a place like this is where the adults are. And this is where HBO Max is lucky because everyone knows it's HBO. You can put the Christopher Reeve Superman Batman movie there, and it's a Christopher Reeve Superman movie and the Michael Keaton Batman. But then you can also have BVS, the Ultimate Edition, which is rated R, or the Snyder Cut, where you already know that, okay, HBO Max is not necessarily geared towards children. It has some kids stuff on there, but we can do cartoons like the Harley Quinn show, right? You know, and we can have Super Friends and the Justice League Unlimited. You know what I mean? Disney Plus has a problem where I think they know that there will be a situation that if they put an R-rated show on their streaming device, some stupid mom is going to be like, oh, I sat down to watch The Punisher with my son, and he used a machine gun to kill a bunch of people, you know. So Disney, either they nerf The Punisher, where he goes through like a whole, I'm not going to kill anyone anymore.
Exactly.
Or they're going to have to, you know, put him on FX alongside shows like Sons of Anarchy.
But like I said, if it's connected to the greater MCU, which from now on, if these characters appear, they will be, and interacting with the greater MCU, there's no way they're going to be on another platform besides Disney Plus. Period.
Let me ask you this about Moon Knight. I've never really met Moon Knight. Is Moon Knight regular Marvel, or is it like the Max stuff?
It's regular. I think it's regular.
Regular Marvel. Okay, because like the Max is where Blade was and where Punisher was, like where, you know, they deal with like the nasty stuff that kids can't watch, and like even to buy those Punisher Max comics, you had to be at least 18 to purchase them. But so like, you know, I was wondering, like, so if Moon Knight is a regular comic, we'll see. But I guess that is my fear. I'm grateful. I am very grateful to bringing Daredevil back. I just think they have to do it right. And don't Disney-fy it. What did John Boyega said? You ain't Disney Plus and me. Well, I'm saying don't Disney Plus this character. Don't tone him down. When he gets in a fight, it's not like he gets up, he's covered in blood. He wakes up the next morning, bruises all over his back.
Yep.
You know, and this is part of the story that, yeah, at the end of the day, he is a human. He's an incredible fighter, but he does take a lot of damage. He takes a lot of punishment. His body takes a lot of punishment. And that is very much part of his story. It's very much part of who Matt Murdock is. You know, the good old altar boy who carries Catholic guilt, who won't kill anyone and then hates the fact that he can't kill anyone, but he won't kill anyone because life and death, as he said in season 2, is in the hands of God.
Yep.
That's good stuff. I don't know if Disney Plus will do that. They'll probably tone it down, and they know millions of kids will watch it. Like, oh, Daredevil. But, you know, I don't know. Or they, you know, they'll like kill off Daredevil and replace him with Karen Page or something.
Oh my God.
They would never do that, would they? But anyway, any last thoughts on Daredevil?
No, I mean, besides that, I am excited to see what they do with it. And what they do with the character. Other than that, you know, there's still a lot of questions. Still a lot of questions to be asked, but we'll definitely hopefully be getting some answers soon once this damn movie comes out next week.
I don't want him to wear this costume. I know it's in the comics, but no. I don't want to see him in the yellow spandex. All right, guys, let's move on to a topic briefly that was not supposed to be part of today's show, but we're going to talk about Black Adam. So, folks, Austin stepped away for a few seconds, so it'll just be me and you.
Psych.
And Kate. Psych. Here we go. Caden, thank you for uploading these photos. This just dropped today. Let's talk about this. We have actual behind-the-scenes shots of Black Adam. I never thought this would be possible, but The Rock looks even more jacked than he normally does.
I know.
When he said that he was getting in shape for Black Adam, I was like, what are you talking about, dude? You're like the most ripped guy in the world.
And then
but
you see his like quads like huge, and
you can see his abs pushing through his costume.
Yeah.
I mean, that is because I always thought
like
the most.
You don't need no ab pads for this costume.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Cavill in Man of Steel was jacked. I mean, he was huge in Man of Steel. He was not that big in BVS and Justice League, but he looks massive. He looks scary. And if anyone ever saw it, like we see The Rock in movies and stuff and schlocky movies, but if anyone remembers how intense he could be in his WWE days, back when it was called WWF, he had an intensity that would resonate to 20,000 fans in an arena, and I'm seeing that intensity right here. I
Yeah.
think he looks badass. Let me
I
ask you
love
this,
the
Kate.
costume. I
Yeah,
love
so
like the bracelets. I love the cloak.
yeah.
It
Does
looks.
he wear a cloak? I'm not too familiar.
I mean, not he wears a cape, but I think like I think this is like something that he wore when he like. I think we're gonna when the flashback stuff we see, we'll see why
Okay. It'll
he's
be something he used to wear.
yeah.
Benson says his dealer must be making a fortune on roid sales. Look, there's no doubt. He is going to be, he's 49 years old now. He's going to be 50 in May. And you cannot get there now. Look, I get he's been working out his whole life, but usually around this age is when you start to sag and droop. And, it happened to Arnold. It happens when you hit a certain age, your body just cannot keep up. But there's no doubt he has to be on something. He was losing his hair well before he became a huge star. And the use of heavy testosterone does cause your hair to fall out. And yeah, there's no doubt. But you know what?
And I think he actually admitted to at least like one time he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like there was a time when I was heavy on the roids.
Yeah.
And like he's like,
But he has to be taking. Now there are other things you can take besides testosterone steroids that can help you.
yeah,
But to say that at age 49 he looks like he's in the best shape of his life. I mean, he's better looking here in physicality than he was when he won the WWF title in 1998. And he was in great shape there, but like he was not this. Woo, look at that.
yeah.
And mind you, when he got into Hollywood around 2006, he actually slimmed down a lot. If you watch movies like The Rundown, everything before Fast and Furious, he was still ripped, but he slimmed down. Arnold did the same thing. They were ripped, but they slimmed down for the camera.
Right.
So after he slimmed down in his 30s, he started putting the muscle back on. So absolutely, he's got to be doing something. What do you think of the lighting and everything? Very kind of almost Snyder style of like lighting, use of like darker tones.
It looks very like Snyder DC and like it's gonna be like the dark. I was gonna say darker version of Shazam, but I'm like Shazam's pretty dark. So if it's darker than that, then it's like.
Well, Shazam, like when the villain scenes are pretty dark, like the whole boardroom scene.
Oh, the whole the sins and eating the board members.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty gruesome.
Like it was just like you don't see much, but you know exactly what's happening. And then like you see the two board members being thrown against that wall, and you see like them slide off, and you see like a kind of a black like thing, and you're like, oh, that's blood. And just like I think like it may seem
that reminded me of the surgery scene in Spider-Man 2. Remember when they're trying to the tentacles off Doc Ock in like the first act of the movie, and the arms come alive, and it's pretty
like
gruesome.
attacking the doctor.
You're like crunching and screaming and a lot of shadows, but like the idea is that Doc Ock's arms just killed all these doctors and nurses.
Yeah,
he did have surgery on his chest. Yep. In fact, hold on real quick. From December 1998 to WrestleMania 1999, when he was wrestling, he would wear nylon pants and a light nylon shirt because he had chest surgery and had to cover that up. So he wasn't in his normal skivvies. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like I think with Shazam, I think honestly it's like one of the darkest DC movies. Even though it seems very lighthearted, it takes during Christmas, but it's pretty dark. It's like if you overlook all the lightheartedness, it's really dark.
Yeah. And look, DC still has the opportunity to make more serious films. They don't have to follow. The most interesting part of all of this is that he kind of crap talked the other DC movies in the previous year. The Rock did? Really?
Yeah.
I know he did say, like, the DC universe needs to watch out because there's a new guy in town or something like that. But
right.
Also, I thought that was
what's very fascinating about the cover, as you can see, he's up on the cover. Yeah. Also, if you look, Avatar 2, Top Gun Maverick, The Batman, Jurassic World 3, Doctor Strange 2, John Wick 4, Thor: Love and Thunder, Fantastic Beasts 3, Uncharted, and Book of Boba Fett are all getting a little preview / first look. But we've seen what Uncharted.
I might need to buy this. Where do they sell magazines at?
Like at the stands.
I don't
in
think
like
everywhere I go, I don't think they have magazines. Maybe
pharmacies.
like a drugstore.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
pharmacies or
But they
magazine
put
stands.
him. Here's something, Caden, put that up again. There's something interesting to note about this. Jurassic World 3, Top Gun 2, Avatar 2, The Batman, Doctor Strange, John Wick, Thor, all these big movies. But who do they put on the cover? Not Black Adam, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. What am I saying there? The star power this guy has, most people outside the comic book world do not know who Black Adam is and probably could not care, but he is the selling point. He is right now the most profitable movie star in the world. He is an ultimate get for DC. He's a huge get for DC because his name alone, this movie's going to make $1 billion.
He's been Black Adam for
playing a
15 years now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's finally
Benson said
happening.
he was absolutely massive in Moana. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Oh my god.
He basically said they're moving away from the Snyder tone, which WB has been telling him. Oh, I hope that's not true. I hope that's not. Well, that's a conversation for another time if they decide to. I know that his agent, Danny Garcia, is the same as Henry Cavill's. But I hope.
I even think that Danny and The Rock were together at some point.
Yeah, they were married. In fact,
Yeah.
when he was at the peak of his WWE career, he was married. When he put his book out, he was married to her. At some point, they divorced, but they remained good friends. They raised their daughter.
Yeah, they're amazing parents.
Yeah, very good parents, and they seem to work with each other pretty well. And she's still his manager, so
yeah, and I think like they live in the same neighborhood.
Really,
yeah. So it's like then the daughter can be like in the same area. So it's not like taking the like, and I think he has a house in Hawaii. He has a house in LA. So he's able to
Okay. Have you seen? I just started my continuation of Superman and Lois. That guy's growing on me.
Yeah.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Tyler Hoechlin.
The only one thing is he's in great shape, but he's not as big as Cavill was. Like Cavill got like super.
Oh
huge.
Yeah. Like I think
like he's ripped, but he's like skinny ripped.
Yeah.
He looks normal when he wears.
I
when Henry Cavill wears like a suit and tie, it is quite clear he's really a big guy.
I think that like with Superman, you don't have to make him like super ripped. He can be from the Tyler Hoechlin to the Henry Cavill ripped area. Like you don't have to make him like you can have him have abs and everything, but you don't have to have him like where he's super jacked and everything.
I think it has to work from a visual standpoint.
Yeah.
Because technically Superman does not need to be that ripped because he's Superman.
Because
he needs to look big enough that when he's up against Ben Affleck, he looks like he could beat up Ben Affleck. Like there's a visual element to it. Like, and Zach got that. That's why he wanted his Batman and his Superman to be huge, like massive.
Right.
I get that. So I get that if you made him Christopher Reeve, by the way, like we might say, well, he wasn't that big. If you saw what Christopher Reeve looked like before he played Superman, he was a really skinny guy. He put on a lot of muscle to get even as big as he did for that movie. By today's standards, it's nothing because back then they didn't have as much scientific knowledge about bodybuilding. Back then bodybuilders were putting like 5, 6, 7 hours a day in the gym. Now they put like 3 or 4 because now you can work out smarter. But I think for the visual elements, Superman has to look bigger than the average person. Like when he's
absolutely,
even though he doesn't necessarily have to be. He doesn't need to look like Kane.
And look, I guess that's fine for certain movies and stuff, but if Black Adam is injected with hope, optimism, and fun, fuck that.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say. If that's the case for that, I guess that's fine for the other characters and stuff, but I swear to God, if they try to pull some shit with Black Adam.
The Rock is a fan of the character, right? It's not like he just read the comic.
No.
But you know what? The Rock is also more so a fan of money.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think that you ever hear The Rock talk? Those are like his 3 big buzzwords. Like, we're gonna set, everything's about optimism and hope. I feel like that's him. Either he said that or was told to say that, but I don't necessarily mean that Black Adam. Dude, that one scene we got where he kills a bunch of SWAT members or whatever.
It looks sick. I mean, that looks great. That's what I want to see. So, for Superman and stuff, I think
Correct.
You know, Snyder made a bit of a mistake by not presenting the Superman that everybody knows and loves first, and just taking him in the direction of dark
Have
tone
you heard
first.
this thing? I've heard it said a lot online.
Yes, I heard about
Everyone,
that. Yeah.
Everyone hates Joss Whedon's Justice League, but he got Superman right. Not the mustache stuff, but the lines, the dialogues, the way I'm talking about the parts
Kind
of it
of,
where
yeah.
And I was
for
like, you know what? Yeah,
I'm
I
a
can
big
see
fan
that.
of Justice part. Other than
Yeah.
that, yeah, he kind of got.
Or like when he like points.
I'm sorry, I've seen Superman be that campy before. I'm a fan of truth. That's exactly like that's literally his line from the comics. I'm a fan of
and
truth,
like when he's with Superman, he calls him he's with the Flash, he calls him Slowpoke, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. My issue was with Superman's mustache, but not with how Superman was portrayed in that movie. At least that, again, I don't like this Whedon cut at all, but I could get what he said. That that was more Superman-y. This guy's so giving you trouble.
Right.
But that being said,
I mean, so Casey says I'll say this, that the movie's also about the JSA, not just Black Adam. Which, okay, yeah, I get that. That's where they'll be able to include other things like humor and the kind of lightheartedness and stuff. Yeah. But even then, man, like Hawkman is a pretty serious character.
Oh yeah, that was
I remember.
That was bad writing. Like, I take it back. I want to die.
Do you bleed?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He did not get the line. He did not get the line. I take it back. I want to die. Well, yeah. That whole scene and yeah.
We're not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying that I could see what they meant by that. That was more very,
What they were just looking to. Like I said, I think Snyder made a mistake in introducing a Superman that was, dark and this and that, instead of letting audiences see that hopeful Superman first, letting him see, the best of the best that he is.
Of that. Like when you watch Man of Steel, like
there are elements.
Miles.
Absolutely, there are. I'm not saying that there aren't elements. Like, yeah, I rewatched the Man of Steel. Still one of my favorite movies. Like when he takes off and he starts flying, and he actually is able to figure out that he's flying miles and stuff. Yeah, like certain things like that. But I can see where, like, ultimate Superman fans, but like diehard Superman fans, are sitting there, and you know what? That's one thing Whedon got right. Is in the middle of all of what that was happening, right? Superman takes a second, stops Batman, and goes, "They're civilians," and just boom, takes off. That's things like, I think that the audience wanted to see Superman act like Superman before he was broken down and beaten and started over and done the whole process that Snyder wanted to do.
But I feel like even if they had done that after the fact, if they made Superman darker after the fact, people would have complained. But there's one thing that reminds me of Superman in Man of Steel, is when he talks to the general at the end.
Yeah.
He's like, I grew up in Kansas, General. I'm as American as they get. He's like, how do we know you won't act against America's interests? He's like, I don't know, General. I guess you're just going to have to trust me. And he just flies off. I'm like,
yes.
That's Superman. Look, like, you're just going to have to trust me.
That's not to say, right. That's not to say that, there aren't moments in Man of Steel in those movies that he's not, doesn't act like that. But like I said, it was this whole thing of more so the focus of Snyder's films was breaking him down, building him back up, breaking him down, building him back up. Which you can't really, you can't break something down that's not even built. And that's what he did with Superman.
I think he was breaking down the perception of Superman, like outside, like the general audiences, like what people think Superman is, for better or worse. That's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, in everyone's head, they're thinking Christopher Reeve, or thinking, maybe the Justice League comic or the Justice League animated series, the general, Superman's optimistic. And I would say that he is pretty optimistic. It's just that it's a very dark movie where the threats are very scary. There should have been some scenes of him.
That's the thing. And then it goes into Batman versus Superman, and it's darker.
Yeah.
Superman is darker. He's meaner. He's coming out. In fact, he gets to a point like not even like 30 minutes into the movie that he's like, I need to deal with this Batman guy.
Yeah.
Real
quick, Benson, are you saying that Henry Cavill is not sexy? Yeah, I mean, everyone hates that line. I get it because she sees him up close. She's like, wow, he's a pretty good looking guy. Because at that point, people are scared of Superman, but they're like, hey, he's kind of cute. And he is. Black Adam will do 450. You think in the United States alone or like globally? I think it's going to make more than 450.
Oh, it's going to make more than that.
I think maybe, but globally, I think, I mean, it's just with The Rock. Just having The Rock in there, it's gonna be. There are a lot of fans of The Rock who don't read comic books or watch comic books.
Well, and you got to think too. You do have other things going for it. Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate,
like also, just not like the actor, the character as well.
Yeah, Hawkman is in there.
And I'm saying outside of comic book fans. They're saying it only do. I don't know if Anthony's saying 450 like worldwide or domestically. 450 is pretty big. I think the last movie to do that was like Avengers Endgame, like to do like that made like 800 million. But Black Rock, just to again, this is why I think Batman vs Superman had some pacing issues. If you look at the beginning of the movie when he comes to save Lois, he has a smile on his face. He seems optimistic there. I think what happens is that as soon as the media starts twisting, imagine the media twisting things and saying that he killed all those people in Africa, that's where he realized, like, hey, I'm trying to help people, and everyone still hates me.
But you know what? Somebody brought it up a while ago, and I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's such a weird line for Superman to say. It's when he looks at Lois and he goes, no one ever stays good in this world.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like,
I always thought that was his way of talking about humanity. Like he's trying to be good, but he might have to kill Batman to save his own mother. Like maybe that's what was going on.
But that's the thing, right? That's I think where I think so many fans of Superman were so upset is I would say Batman versus Superman really doesn't get the character of Superman more so than Man of Steel because it just completely turns him into this, you know, he's just given up.
I don't think
he's not even
I want it, but I won't.
He's not even 2 years in, and but that's what that line means is he's basically giving up. He's like, no one ever stays good in this world. Gotta go kill Batman.
But he doesn't.
Like, you're Superman. You're the fastest man alive. You can't think another way.
You're missing what he says before. He's like, I have to go to Gotham and ask him to help me. Or I have to kill him. Like because now it's his mother. Like he's actually scared. He's like, and he does. Remember, he says to Batman, if I wanted to, I could. What does he say to Batman? Stay down. If I wanted, I could have killed you. He could have killed Batman at any point in that, but he's trying not to. He's trying to subdue the guy to his own detriment because then it ends up with Batman about to stab him. I would say that he didn't necessarily lose that optimism. Like, yeah, it wasn't glowing.
It felt like it to me.
Batman well before the first hit of Kryptonite, but he didn't. And I say that I think that the Superman optimism is there. It's just not like but
it's also it's not just that too. It's his whole thing too with Batman, and like they took that idea right of Dark Knight Returns where the government sends Superman to kill Batman, and they just got the government part out of it, and they were like, nah. Superman just wants to kill Batman. I kind of like the idea
that the government. See, the 80s, it was a different. People looked at the U.S. government different. Today, post 9/11, I actually agree that the U.S. government be like, wow, Superman is real. He should be killing for us. Can we get Superman to like basically Homelander?
Sure,
they want
sure.
So the fact they can't control Superman is what scares them. I think that Senator plays it really well. I don't know. They really want Superman to either work for them, but not outside of them. Because they know Superman could, he discovers that Lex Luthor is arming rebels in Africa,
But again, it's just, you can't take the character that far in and like I said, break him down without ever seeing him ever be Superman, actually.
I agree, but I would argue that maybe the hopeful, optimistic Superman might not work in today's world. At least the kind we got in Superman Returns or the Chris Reeve.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying either, homeboy Superman is coming down telling Batman, hang up the cowl or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
You know, like
I didn't say I'm gonna kill you. Is like
no, but come on,
I'm gonna stop you. Like he'd
Right.
stop you, and I can hand you over to the police or something. You know.
right.
I
But
remember
still,
again in Batman vs Superman,
that's-
it seems like everyone liked Superman up until that Africa incident. Again, this was not communicated well in the film, but if you watch the film, people like him. It's only when they start seeing the dude spray painting and they say, what does Perry say? Love affair with Man in the Sky ? Meaning like at this point, people still kind of love him. There's a monument to him, but like now they're like, oh my god, did he kill all those people in Africa? Did he
But that's
blow up?
the thing,
You
even
know, like all of a
even-
sudden, Lex uses the people's fears to kind of turn everyone against him. Again, the movie has a lot of issues, but I think that they should have, at least in the first 10 minutes, I guess the whole point of the monument was to show that people do love him and see him as a savior until the Africa incident. Then you have the guy with no legs, Wally, painting that. Then you have
But that whole thing,
that
right,
lady,
with
like
the-
he
with
answers
the-
to no one. Not
that
even
whole thing
God,
with-
I think. That's Tyler's favorite line in the movie, by the way.
that whole thing with the love affair in the sky thing was really weird too, because it's contradictory of everything that happened in Man of Steel. Like if we're going based off of the events of Man of Steel, people are not necessarily in love with this guy. They're not. I wouldn't say they're scared, but they
Oh,
just don't-
the world
they
barely
don't
knows
know-
he exists
they don't
until
know
like
how
that
to
last
feel.
act.
I think that's the idea of that montage scene, right? Is that certain people look at him as a savior,
Mhm.
and other people look at him as a menace.
Oh yeah, are you talking about the scene where they have like Andrew Sullivan and Neil deGrasse Tyson talking? I think that's probably one of the best scenes in the movie.
Well,
where they show him save people from the hurricane.
Yeah,
the
right.
spaceship,
My
and the-
favorite shot. If you're anyone who's ever been in faith and cried out in prayer, that scene where the woman, like, and the camera pans around her, reaches
Oh,
out
right.
like this, and you just see him standing there. I'm like, yes, that is Superman, because those people love him. But remember, even the scene where he arrives at the Capitol, if you look at the crowd, there's some people who are against him, and it's very easy to rile people up. And there's some people who are cheering for him. Like that conflict, I'm assuming, at least my understanding of the film is, doesn't start until the event. Remember, there's 18 months between
Right.
Man of Steel and BVS, and Batman doesn't trust Superman, but it seems like the rest of the world is now like, wait, is this guy really safe? Is he really serious? He brought his war here, you know. And again, I think the movie could have communicated that. I think the idea was that, yeah, he is loved until these events start unfolding. And
Yeah,
then they're turning against him. But the movie kind of
again-
makes it seem like they've always hated him.
Well, that too. And look, I just think is the way that Snyder handled Superman, while as much as I love Man of Steel, and for me that's what I like, I understand why diehard Superman fans
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that
Which I am
version.
not. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a big super.
Right,
But I
right.
also know there are a lot of people, and I don't know who said this. Someone on our show, one of our shows said this, said I wasn't really a Superman fan until Man of Steel. Like somehow that version
That's
of that.
me.
That
Yeah,
was you.
that's me.
Okay. that was
Because
you.
look, so I'm weird. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate right now, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like the hopeful, optimistic version of Superman. The way I think of that version is it's I don't know. I just think you write yourself into a corner when you have the Boy Scout Superman. There's nothing, no conflict. There's no, he's the most powerful, being ever, all this type of stuff. It's just really hard for me to believe and wrap around, get my mind around, him having conflict. I enjoyed the way Snyder introduced it, because it's like, I enjoyed that bit of reality that he kept, right? In that alien comes to our world, fights another alien, takes out an entire city because he's still just adjusting to his powers, the atmosphere, things like that. And the world, doesn't know how to react.
Yeah.
That's what I liked and what got me so interested in the story, because outside of right in a comic book, that would happen, and the world just, we love the world throws a parade and celebration for the Justice League and all of this stuff, right? And you're kind of like, but the entire city was destroyed and millions of people died. But that's
I think the perception is that these aliens, because there's a throwaway line in Man of Steel. She's like, I think it's not Perry, but the young girl who's trapped in the robot. She's like, he saved us. That maybe the initial perception is that he saved them, and that Zod was going to destroy Earth regardless. They need a new place for Krypton. I would make the case that technically he is the optimistic Superman in BVS, until he sees a Senate hearing. Like there's, he comes home, he brings flowers, I brought dinner, he jumps in the tub with Lois. He's not really moody at that point. I think the moodiness starts when he's like, remember that scene where he's cooking the fake eggs and he sees the news and she's like, and he sees the lady Kahani, I think her name is, the African lady.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like, that's not what happened. Like that's where I think the moodiness starts and it keeps going down that path. Because at the same time, Lex is manipulating back. Again, there's a lot of in that movie that should have been better written or paced, but I think he technically was the Superman we all know and love up until that moment. And then the news head starts talking.
I don't think we ever got the Superman we all know and love.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that was, I think the idea was that he is like the everyone loves him guy until, the media turns on him and, the guy sprays false god and I think that was the idea,
I mean,
but it wasn't communicated well.
No, and like I said, and there are moments in Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman that I know, like for those diehard Superman fans, that I hate that thing that it's like people complain he never smiles. Dude, go back and watch the scene. Go back and watch First Flight. First Flight is one of the most inspirational, epic movie moments.
Yeah.
I literally watched a video.
Or even when he's being interrogated.
Of this little kid watching First Flight for the first time. He's like 3 years old. Dad was holding him. And Superman takes off and the kid goes, and lights up and gets a big smile on his face and stuff. Like that's.
Or even like to see where he's being interrogated. He's not like all serious. He's actually smiling.
Right. Like when he's talking,
he's like not actually. He's got like a little smirk on his face. It's like it means hope. It's a house or whatever. And like he's not really like he's actually again the movie's very serious. And I actually kind of like the fact that Zod was a very scary threat. There weren't jokes being made during the whole thing. But I love Man of Steel. I think and BVS. I think it could have used. Better writer, someone who could have maybe fleshed it out. Like, okay, yeah, Superman is popular, people love him, but oh crap, what happened in Africa?
Man of Steel will forever be one of my all-time favorite superhero movies. Like, period.
Yeah. Real quick, end love affair with the sky. We don't fall in love with Superman after short montage. Or victims. That happens afterwards, though. The end with the love affair happens when the guy spray paints false god. And then it cuts to Clark kind of like looking like confused, like, wait, what? They think I'm a false guy because the montage happens after that. Like that's after this. So like, anyway, Superman was so caught up with his anonymity, he never was a public figure. That's something interesting. Yeah, I don't think Superman, I think at that point was either loved or people didn't care about him, but now they hate him and he doesn't know how to handle it.
And that's the other thing too, is right. His actions in Africa are really off because it's like, he puts Lois ahead of everybody else. And it's just all for me. Look, Batman versus Superman, I've always thought was a pretty bad movie. Mm-hmm. It's become a guilty pleasure of mine because I enjoy a lot of the scenes. I enjoy Zack Snyder's filmmaking style. It's hard for me now to argue that movie's not good. The Ultimate Edition and the theatrical edition.
Really, I think you're right. Maybe it's not well made, but I think there's so many elements to break down in that film. It just needed either it should have been a 4-hour movie and kind of really spaced out, or it should have had a different writer. But I think the elements of it work really well. I like the idea that he went in there to save Lois and caused a whole. I mean, it was kind of set up that way. They set up Superman that we're going to blame this whole massacre on him, and then Carlos makes a point. Superman, here we go. He never even addressed the people. And I think that's what that was going to be. That was going to be Superman kind of talking to the people the first time. Lex like, I'm not giving you that. Boom. Because then Superman would have been like, I arrived there. I saved Miss Lane. I did not kill the people there. Remember, that happened before he arrived. In fact, I didn't know those people were killed. Had I arrived there earlier, I would have stopped them. Because he doesn't want people looking too much into Africa, because all those people were Lex's men, so he just blows it up. So
and
Superman never gets a moment in the sun.
One of the reasons why they can't look into Africa is because it's an international affair. It's not
exactly
right.
And not only that, Lex doesn't want them to look into it. He doesn't want them to, and he doesn't want Superman to say his piece because Superman could win everyone. Say, hey, I did not know this was happening. On top of which it shows the guilt on Clark because I think there's a great scene after he blows up. He just stands there and he's kind of crying. He's like, I didn't even bother to see that there was a bomb here. Like I
Right.
failed to save all these people.
And I
You
do
know,
want to.
Well, also the thing was because it was lead encased. He like
Yeah,
he looked
exactly.
at it
We
himself
didn't know
and
that. Like we find that out after. Again, that's
Yeah.
not in the theatrical version. Like it was encased
the
in lead.
Yui where the girl where Lois goes to that one girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to say just real quick because Prakash says,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm tired of both Snyderverse haters and lovers trying to convince each others that they're correct. If anyone doesn't like Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman, so be it. Don't need to make them interpret something you do. I completely agree. For me, this is a conversation. I'm not arguing.
Yeah, I don't think we're arguing with each other. We're not like, God damn it.
Look, I really enjoy these conversations because I don't hate or I don't dislike people that like the movie. I like to have these conversations so I can know why you like the movie. And so it's at the end of the day,
where is it?
Let's see, right under MSK, right? And look, we're not arguing. We're not trying to. We're not even trying to convince each other. I'm not trying to convince Jack of anything. I'm just enjoying the conversation of getting to dive into why we dislike or like these movies.
Yeah.
I did want to say also real quick.
We're not
shout
arguing.
out. Yeah, no, we're not arguing at all. I love Jack. I love Jack with all my heart.
I love him.
Yeah, but I like Austin. He's all right. But I do want to shout out Master Swag King Entertainment in the chat. Always great to see you, bud. Happy birthday. I was gonna jump in last night, but every time I looked in, you had like 10 people in there partying with you, man. So, but happy birthday to you. It was awesome being on your show on Sunday. He says, hi, I produce Soda Pop. Does that count? But to be fair, most general people like the popular version of Superman. Why do a version that would be considered polarizing? Which I understand, right? At the same time, I do think there are great, and we kind of talked about this on his show. There are great stories with the darker Superman, right? Injustice, Red Sun, Kingdom Come. There are some really good stories out there.
And what's there was one that just came out like last year. It was like New Frontier or something like that, where it was like end up where he was like working with some villain, like where like the past versions come to this future and they're like, oh snap, and then like that Superman kills like everyone, and like something like that. It's like that. But yeah.
Right. I just think, and I agree with BlackRock. If I'm Superman and Lois is held hostage, you can't just fly the villain through the wall like that.
Oh, apparently he's alive.
What? No.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. That changed my perception of it. Apparently Zach said, "Oh no, he didn't kill him. Like he was the one who went through the wall, but like the guy's General, whatever his name is, apparently alive." Zach did not, or Superman did not kill. That's something that should have been communicated in the film. He did not kill that general. I guess when he went through the wall, Zach literally was like, "Oh, he went through like this." He just pushed the guy, but he didn't kill him. Fly the villain. Well, if you remember, I mean, bullets are pretty fast. He had to be faster than a bullet to save Lois. It was so many months he had a lot of time to address the people. I don't know, like in Zach's world, and I think maybe this is the Marvel and us, like, oh, Iron Man talks to people, Captain America talks to people. In DC, people try to keep their enemy. Like, can you imagine Superman's like, yes, I'm going to have a press conference. Get CNN, guess Chris Cuomo. What? Chris Cuomo got fired. Then get the guy who replaced him. Get Jack. Let's have a press conference. I'm going to address. Like, he's not quite there. Yes, he do that in the comics, but like he's just doing his thing. He's helping people, saving people. He doesn't really do it for like the public perception. And I'm saying I don't think people hated him until the African thing set off. Like it was like a domino effect. Like boom, pop, 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 pop. All these things happen in quick succession, and people hate Superman. Batman. Like Batman doesn't care. People love him or hate him. He's not like, I better have a press conference.
I gotta say, MSK said Superman kills Zod, then light speeded a black guy through a brick wall.
What do you say? Where is that? He killed Zod, then light speeded a black guy through.
That's pretty funny. Look, that
and Zod was wearing black too.
yeah, Zod was wearing black too.
I think for me, here's the main
Prakash,
issue.
Why did he leave? Why does Prakash like I'm coming in for a minute and I'm leaving? Oh, we're not even arguing about like
he can't handle it, dude.
Can't handle all this.
But
I
mean, look, I just think that if they were going to do Superman the way that they did, they should have let everybody know from the start.
Yeah.
You come off saying Man of Steel, based off of the comic, based off the stories, the references to that. I can understand people are expecting a certain version of Superman.
Yeah.
And this was not what that was, you know. If they would have come out and said the movie's title is Injustice, and that Superman happened, that movie probably would have been very successful.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that the name is important. Batman versus Superman, I can almost guarantee you, did as bad, did so poorly. Part of the reason is because of the name. If you're a comic book fan,
he didn't want to call it that. He had like some other title in his mind.
If you're a comic book fan, there's no comic called Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Does that fight happen?
It's funny,
yes. It happens multiple times in the comics.
Well, Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice wasn't the title that Terrio and Snyder wanted. It was the studio that put that title.
Yeah, the studio I think said that. So he's
right.
Yeah.
It's still at this point. It's
and when he revealed it, remember when he does that big announcement and they show the two logos? Even then, it wasn't called Batman versus Superman. It just said, "Hey, these two are going to be in a movie coming up." And I agree with you. I mean, I don't know what a better title would have been because even let's say World's Finest, because they're not really working with each other until like the last 20 minutes. You know,
it still would have been a better title. It still would have been closer. You know.
Yeah, because even in like World's Finest, they had their problems with each other in the beginning, and then and like near like end of the half of the comic, they came together and actually became the World's Finest detectives together.
Right.
Benson says, "I can't understand why they have never had a Superman movie involving Lex Luthor and a land scam. That would be awesome. Technically, they did it 3 times. Superman 1,
I think he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know. And then Superman
I also
Returns.
think World's Finest would have helped also because you kind of see in the UE that Clark Kent is also kind of doing his own detective work, and Bruce is kind of his own doing detective work, and at the end they kind of work together. So it still would have been a better title than Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, you know,
Yeah, at least the ones that Snyder suggested or something were at first I was like, oh, those are kind of goofy, like the night versus day. He said some titles.
Yeah, he had some metaphorical shit.
Again, I think Zach needs better writers. If you look at his most successful movies, like that are like 300 different writers. They're writing Rebel Moon. Watchmen, written by the great David Hayter, different writer. Like I think he needs a good writer.
Yeah,
someone who
Man of Steel, Nolan and David S. Goyer.
Goyer, yeah. And then Terrio did BVS and Justice League. Although Terrio himself has said that the way BVS was, the theatrical version was not what he wrote.
I'll say this much: I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says or how many different cuts there. What's up, Katsuka? Or how many different cuts there are. Chris Terrio should stay the fuck away from my piece.
Yeah.
Don't touch Star Wars. Don't touch DC. Just
which is why
good original writer, my guy.
If they do, hypothetically restore the Snyderverse, he should look into other writers. Maybe the ones who writing Rebel Moon right now, they wrote 300. Get someone who has a better idea of a story structure and dialogue. They could take the same ideas that are going to be Justice League 2 and 3 and write it.
Isn't it funny that Ben Affleck almost directed Man of Steel?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, before Nolan and Goyer went to Snyder, they went to Affleck, a bunch of like other directors. But yeah, Affleck was like first approached before Snyder was.
Watch charging.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Wow, they really went to everyone for that one.
They did.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I love. Yeah, but so how did we get to this? Oh, I said we're going to talk about Black Adam for 3 seconds. But yeah, see, that's the point of jiving with Jack. You never know where it's going to jive to.
Oh, they even went to Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Matt Reeves too.
Oh, really?
Tony Scott.
Oh, he's got Batman, and he's got his little Batman movie in. So,
yeah.
Is Terry real issue? I don't know.
For me, he is. He's one of many issues.
The only movie that he's written that was really good was Argo.
The only movie.
Rise of Skywalker, not good.
Yep.
BVS. I mean, he technically wrote the Snyder cut, but I'm wondering how much of that was a lot of hands in the pot.
Well, look from the other issue too is you look at those movies that Chris Terrio wrote.
Yeah.
This guy and look, I know it's a collaboration between him and Snyder. I know Snyder's going, hey, I want to do this, and this. Write that in there. But the way that Terrio writes it, dude, is so messy and so, for me, disrespectful to the actual storylines that they're pulling from. In the last 45 minutes of Batman versus Superman, I got The Dark Knight Returns, The Reign of Superman, some Wonder Woman comics. I got Doomsday. I got literally, if you could think of the most
like
iconic
20 comics,
the top
45 minutes.
iconic comics of DC of the last 25 years, Chris Terrio and Snyder were like, put it all in there. And I was like, dude, for me, I walked out of the movie. I don't think I've ever been so frustrated with the movie because I know those storylines.
Yeah.
And I went, you guys wasted so much good opportunity.
Fair though, like when it comes to film, they have to
all for a shot.
Yeah.
They wasted good story opportunity all because it looked cool on camera.
Yeah. I got to address this. Benson gave us £5. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Benson.
Guys, it was Batman v Superman. Totally different meaning. True, you had the V, meaning a legal thing. Jack, how big is your vintage cushion collection? We have a lot of cushions. A lot of cushions in our house. Yep, ton downstairs. It's cushion everywhere. Because we don't wear our shoes inside, so it's a type of house where you can sit down anywhere. So if you want to sit on the couch, we have very nice couches, or you can sit on the floor. We throw pillows and cushions on the floor. So we have a lot. I've never seen Rise of Skywalker. Hate that movie. Good take, Austin. I agree with you about Batman vs. Superman, but I would also argue that most comic movies do have to combine multiple elements, maybe not as much as BVS, to do their story. I mean, you could argue like the Civil War movie, which I like a lot, was a severely toned down version of what the comics were because you can't do a 6-movie Civil War story. You got to do one movie. You got to condense it, alter it. That's what they did with V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta, they really took the basest parts of the story and made a movie out of that. Fans will say, well, they basically butchered the book. But, like, again, V for Vendetta might work as a miniseries. But, like, when you're converting into film, you're going to have to take elements. And I get it. They did Dark Knight Returns, this, that, and just put it all together in a blender.
Injustice, dude, I can go on. This guy literally, like I said, he took the most, in that movie, in Batman versus Superman, you get the iconic shot from Dark Knight Returns. You get the iconic fight. You get the death of Superman. You get Doomsday's birth and freaking just all of this stuff. It's like you get Injustice, Superman, and the nightmare sequence.
Yeah.
It's all of these different storylines.
The Injustice thing was supposed to set up a whole other movie, which we technically never got. So I can...
But still,
it's
so out of context and so early on.
All I said was one scene. So you see Ben Affleck looking at his computer, and then it cuts to the nightmare sequence, right? All they need was Ben Affleck to do this because he's looking at his computer screen, and then do the night. Just that one thing would be like, oh, he fell asleep. He's having a dream, or is it a dream, or is it a vision? But anyway, we have a couple more topics I want to get to. You know what? We'll jump into this now because it's kind of related. Slightly related to the DCEU. So, Patty Jenkins is not going to be doing the Cleopatra movie with Gal Gadot. She's going to be focused on Wonder Woman 3 and Rogue Squadron. My understanding was that Rogue Squadron was kind of like not happening, or like it was kind of put on.
I think it was the reason why it was put on hold was because of Cleopatra. And I think Cleopatra wasn't as a passion project as Rogue Squadron and Wonder Woman 3 was to Patty Jenkins. Okay. So I think it was one of those things where she was like, I can give up Cleopatra because I really want to do Rogue Squadron.
And I'm looking up Kari Skogland.
She did Falcon and Soldier.
Oh, she did. Okay, so it's in good hands then. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And look, these two have made a pretty good pair. And I would like to see a Cleopatra. She looks almost exactly like most representations of her. I'm okay with that.
I think the only thing was that she isn't Egyptian and she's an Iranian Jew.
To be fair, neither was Cleopatra. She wasn't.
Yeah, and
She was
that's
Greek Macedonian.
that's another thing too. This whole thing of like, does she look the part? Okay, cool. That's it for me.
That's it. And truth is, we always
guess what, guys? It's called acting for a reason.
You ever see that Bill Burr skit? He's like,
surprise!
He got mad at what's his name? The guy who plays Breaking Bad. What's his name? Bryan Cranston, because he played a quadriplegic.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Why didn't you get a real quadriplegic? It's like,
I think Patty left this movie because I think I don't think she can handle these big projects. I don't think she's a big budget filmmaker.
Did she do anything like this before Wonder Woman?
No, she did Monster, which was an Academy Award, and she did a show called
the Halle Berry one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was her. Okay.
Yep. And so I just think that for her, man, I think it's she got into a lot. Obviously, I'm sure the reception of 1984 hit her.
Yeah.
And
that movie was just so radically different, which is not always a bad thing, but it was just
right.
It honestly made
Cleopatra
Wonder Woman
films are
inconsistent in the DCU.
Patty doesn't need any more bad mojo. I think it depends, for me.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Monster's Ball. Monster was one with
no Monster. Yeah, Monster.
Yeah, that's the one with the makeup or everything. Yeah.
Yes,
You're right.
But no, the Cleopatra films are cursed. Casey says, and Patty doesn't need any more bad mojo. I think it's probably too. This Cleopatra film that I'm hearing about with Gal sounds like a really bad idea. It sounds like a really bad movie because there is another Cleopatra film set up at Sony with Denis Villeneuve set to direct it. I don't know if he's probably going to do Dune 2 first, but he's very adamant in that he wants to make that movie. He already has the screenplay written by Eric Roth, an Academy Award-winning screenwriter. And they've talked about it's the hardcore, true version, orgies, violence, all this stuff. Yeah. I don't see Gal Gadot doing that.
Have you ever seen the original one with Elizabeth Taylor? Yeah, that's a great movie. And again, they built all the sets. But yeah, she's not Egyptian. But to be fair, modern Egyptians aren't Egyptian either because the Arabs invaded North Africa in like the 6th century. So we actually don't know what ancient, and on top of which she was Greek because of the Ptolemy family.
So Benson, I do think we can get a pretty epic modern Cleopatra film. It's just about how they do it, who's directing.
Oh, also,
like I said,
the they're using isn't from Eric Roth. It's from David Scarpa.
But Eric Roth had some involvement.
Eric Roth wrote the first draft.
Okay, so they're going based. So it is around his. So he'll probably get a story credit.
But wouldn't this one get made first? The Gal Gadot one?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because Denny's busy with Dune, and those are his priority right now. But he's not giving up. He most recently talked about this movie in September of this year, right before Dune.
Yeah,
talking about how he really wants to make it and all of that. He's had, I believe he wants Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, she's a producer on it.
Which would be, I think that's a great idea because then you'd have the Gal version. You're dealing with a younger Cleopatra. Yeah. Angie, you're dealing with an older Cleopatra, and it kind of.
Well, I think Cleopatra was pretty young relatively when she died.
Right. Or so, but towards the end, more.
Yeah, she was like 39 when she died. So
and like I said, and the Denny film would just be more grit, like more true.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And again, I do have an issue sometimes. A lot of times Cleopatra movies always focus on the same era, which is the last couple of years of her life. And I feel like that's been done so many times. I don't know if that's what Patty's also was going for. Like, when she meets Mark Antony, she meets Julius Caesar. She rolls herself in the mat. Like, we've seen that so many times. I am kind of curious to see what Patty, and I'm assuming it's the same script, but they're going to do something different. But I think Gal is just perfect for this. She's got the
look. It's going to depend on her acting now.
And she has command performance. I think she could play a queen. the last pharaoh of Egypt. You know, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she could. We'll see. We'll see how much she's challenged. A lot of actors, they have to be challenged, and you're like, wow, that person was really good. All right. Any last thoughts before I move on to the next topic? All right, let's get to the. So, the boys will reveal an unseen stories in a Diabolical animated series. Are you familiar with any of the Diabolical? This is from Entertainment Weekly.
I heard the announcement. I saw, some of the creators who are going to be doing the episodes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited, man. I think this is great. The Boys has a couple spinoffs in the works.
Okay.
And I love this show. I really, really
They're
love
filming
this
one
show.
right now, actually.
Yeah, they're filming.
It says right now, according to Eric Kripke, the showrunner, he said that the crew's almost finished making the first season, which will premiere on Amazon Prime in 2022.
Yep.
They're calling it the Vought Cinematic Universe.
Yes. Yeah. So I really enjoy what they're doing over there. They're going to have this animated series. They're going to have probably season 3 premiere next year. They're going to have another spin-off series that's
which is like an X-Men, X-Men spoof,
Oh, an X-Men spoof. Because I do like The Boys a lot. I think season 3 is coming up this year. Is it this year or next year? I know there's a trailer for it.
I think it's season 3 will be out next year.
Oh, okay. So that's a pretty long wait, I think. The Boys, I guess all because of COVID. Season 3.
They just wrapped like 2 months ago.
No release date yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So, but I'm kind of interested in this because I think between this and that other show, Invincible, which is also Amazon, right? I mean, I know they're not connected to this, but the idea of superheroes kind of deconstructed, not as good guys or as heroes, but as evil people, with petty emotions. I think it's going to be interesting. Talk about Batgirl. I heard stuff. Yeah, they have a couple of images, I think, from the set.
Yeah, it takes place during wintertime.
During the winter, yeah.
Right, it's going to be a Christmas show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Kind of like Hawkeye.
Yeah, people saw like they put snow in the streets and like it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm excited. Look, it's HBO. HBO is a very, particular about their shows. I think it'll be very good. I think Batgirl's gonna be a lot better than a lot of people think of it.
I do too. They got some great. The directors are great.
I love the directors and I love the writer. I love the cast.
Well, I don't love the writer, but the directors.
I love the writer.
Christina Hodson.
Yeah, she's not that great,
but she is gonna be Barbara Gordon, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do you think they should do the Barbara Gordon getting shot by Joker at some point in the future? Do you think? Because do you think that might be?
The plan was.
Does she come back? Like, don't give her like robotic legs. If something happens to her, they give her like a chip in her butt or something.
Right. The way that they were going to do in the DC was going to be Deathstroke slicing the back of her like legs.
Oh.
Instead of the shot in the back.
Yeah.
So it was going to be weird. It was going to be very weird.
You know what they could do, Mr. Freeze, but do him well, like the animated series did, or the Arkham series did.
Heart of Ice. Imagine
you know what?
Heart of
You want to know my hot take casting for who I want to play Mr. Freeze?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Joe Pesci.
Get out. No. So this is a hot take. It's because he's not the greatest actor, but he's got the look. He can do the action, and I think
Vin Diesel. You're about to say Vin Diesel.
No, dear God. But you could probably pull a good performance out of him. Jason Statham.
Okay, yeah.
I can see that.
Jason Statham as Mr. Freeze. That's what I want.
You know what? Did you see the origin of Mr. Freeze that they did in the Gotham show? Actually, at least up until before he wore the costume, they really sold how much this guy loves his wife and cared about his wife. So that when she does whatever happens to her, I was kind of sold. Like, yeah, I'm on this guy's side, so to speak. Yeah. Like, I get it. I thought the Gotham show handled that part of the Mr. Freeze stuff really well. He loves his wife. Something happens to his wife. He's just trying to save her. Mark Strong would be great, except they already used him as.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff, man. He's been in Shazam, Green Lantern.
Who can play a good Lex Luthor? Let's assume Eisenberg.
So okay, assuming nobody is everyone's available. I've always said The Rock doing The Rock Johnson should be Lex Luthor.
Really? Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Because because first of all, this is where I'm thinking where I would want that character and what I would do with it is, first of all, I'm thinking of Lex Luthor, not the little skinny Eisenberg and all these versions that John Cryer played.
You're thinking of the animated series one, aren't
you? Give me a this guy works out. You know, he injects himself with kryptonite because he's freaking insane. For me, I'm thinking of Lex Luthor has to be somebody that can take on Superman. Superman's a big guy because even outside that, right, you have Lex in his kryptonite suit. Yeah. And so imagine The Rock, right, in that big. For me, I think.
What I would have picked. You can't pick him now because he's out of film. And the funny thing is, he actually played Lex Luthor. But hear me out.
I'm just tired of old people.
I was thinking, well, assuming who's younger,
like Kevin you need somebody to take on Superman, not Alfred
Kevin
Molina.
Spacey is Lex Luthor, but he plays him the way he played it in House of Cards, not in the Superman Returns. I don't know if you've ever seen House of Cards. Like a very vile, corrupt politician, manipulative. The people love him, but he's disgusting. He's
right.
vile.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed Kevin Spacey's.
Yeah, but like Kevin Spacey was supposed to be the Gene Hackman one, like the same guy. But that performance would have to be more like House of Cards, manipulative, like smiles on the outside. Hi, folks, I'm fighting for you. Inside, he's like, I will kill who I need to.
Yeah, I think The Rock can pull that off. He can be.
And Bryan Cranston was another one who I think. But again,
Bryan Cranston might be the only one that I can think of that I would be cool with too, because he can. Yeah. He's not so old where he looks like frail and stuff. Again, you have to imagine Lex Luthor physically fights Superman.
Yeah.
Like isn't just like some genius and stuff. Like no, he goes toe to toe with Superman.
Someone that
you need an actor who has that look.
They need someone for Lex Luthor the way they perfectly got D'Onofrio for Kingpin. Someone that can be scary with their presence and vulnerable. Like, that's not hard. That's not.
And honestly, if The Rock were playing it, the version of Lex that I'm thinking he'd be playing is like the president version.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Or the one in Justice video games, kind of.
Right. Well, he's liked by the people. He has, there's. I think he could do that.
You ever read Public Enemies or seen the cop movie? They made a movie, Public Enemies.
Yeah.
Batman and Superman have to fight at the White House. I'm like, that'd be so cool.
Yep.
And the whole world's like, Batman and Superman are evil. They're trying to kill the beloved president,
Lex Luthor frames Superman and makes him look like he killed him, but it was Metallo and it was all this other stuff. And yeah. That's the other character I want to see.
Where they were going to take Eisenberg's Luthor post Justice League when he had the shaved head.
They were going to kill him off.
Oh, really?
That's what the storyboard said. He's going to sacrifice himself for humanity at the end because he realizes it was wrong.
They seemed like they were setting up the Injustice League. They were going to get him, Black Manta, Okay, well, let me see him how he looks like.
That's probably what Warner Brothers wanted, and Snyder was like, nah.
No, he had in the storyboards where he had instructed Lex has instructed Riddler to find the anti-life equation, and had Dr. Poison or whatever her name is from the first Wonder Woman to be like.
Yeah, apparently she was still alive by using chemicals or something, so she was alive for like 100 years.
Yeah.
Dr. Maru or whatever her name was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think with, although like I don't like Wonder Woman 84 at all, I think. For them to do that, I think they'll change that out with Cheetah, honestly. But like
Who?
Cheetah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was like he had Black Manta, he had Captain Cold, Riddler, Dr. Maru, and someone else.
Yeah. Again, using a storyline, a great storyline. For the purpose of some shots.
Apparently, no. I think it was supposed to be its own movie, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
He was.
I don't know if
It was all supposed to be Justice League 2. Justice
Yeah, it
League
was
2 was
Justice
going to
League-
be
it was-
him. It was going to be Eisenberg getting the Injustice League, Batman following him as this, you know, like that's what the original storyboards were. And I agree, BlackRock. I can't imagine Jesse Eisenberg in that kryptonite suit.
Real quick, Cal,
Really
you said imagine Charlie. By the way, your profile picture looks like Vin Diesel and The Rock, kind of like.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is. Okay. Charlie Day is a Joker. I like Charlie Day, but I think now the role of the Joker after Ledger and Phoenix, it can't be someone who can do the role well. It has to be someone who just has to do something amazing with it. I think that's that type of role. Like it's just become like it's not enough that you look like him, sound like him, act like him. You have to do something like, you know, really like unique with the character. And I think
I agree. I agree. And Casey, I think it's a waste of Lex too. Not to say, like, I think honestly the visual of Jesse Eisenberg in that kryptonite suit would have been laugh out loud funny. But I mean, at least give us something that, like, he was gonna just put this league together and then sacrifice. Look, the more I thought about it and stuff, the whole idea that Snyder wanted to do his 5-arc movie and just walk away and stuff, I don't know. It just seems very. The whole thing ends up seeming more and more selfish than it does. Like I said, for the actual fans.
Here's my thing with the Eisenberg thing. I wasn't crazy about him. I've learned to like aspects of his performance. But here's the thing with Zach: his casting throughout all his movies is usually really good. So I think the good stuff we were going to see with Lex was yet to come. Maybe
I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that argument with Zack Snyder.
No, I'm just saying. But like with the rest of his cast, he cast Cyborg, he cast Aquaman, he cast
every single Snyder movie. It's like, oh man, you got to wait for the next one to get the good stuff.
No. But I'm just, I don't know what other movies you can say that with these.
Besides a couple, Army of the Dead, Batman versus Superman for sure. You can say.
Oh yeah, again. But I'm saying that because the Lex that we see both in the Whedon version and the Snyder cut, I kind of just a shaved head in the suit. I got a different vibe for him than I got from the, you know, the way he's in like BVS, like, you know, with the that, like, he just seemed different, like just sitting on the. I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious to see where he's going with this because it seems like Lex wasn't really Lex until that scene where he shaves his head or whatever. I don't know. And again, I'm saying that was by choice. Like, here's Lex Luthor, the Mark Zuckerberg version. Now he's Lex Luthor, monstrous psychopath villain.
But that wasn't believable because he was just, you know, he just did that. I don't know. I have a hard time with that performance as Lex. What is this?
Yeah, these are Glasgow. Glasgow, isn't that where they also filmed The Flash, or I might be running?
They filmed The Flash there. They filmed Batman '89 here. They filmed The Batman here. They filmed a lot of like DC stuff over here. So it's like, but yeah. So this is like they're like it's an inside shot they're shooting inside, but they have like, you know, the trucks, the snow.
It's winter over there right now. I mean, it's snowing. Yeah, I don't see any Christmas.
And so and like they're also like putting up fake snow as well.
Okay.
Like just to, you know, just have at least snowfall. Going on.
Batgirl. I mean, it's a TV show, so we could see this next year, right? Is that when we're seeing?
It's not a TV show. It's a movie.
It's
going to be a movie.
But it's
an
HBO Max original. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's a continuation of the Snyderverse, technically, kind of, sort of. There, folks, you got it. What is that? Oh, Enterprise car rental. I saw Enterprise. I'm like, wait, what?
Careful, you'll get canceled like Sean O'Connell.
Yeah. No, let's put a watermark on there that belongs to us. We found it.
Right. But yeah,
Michael Cera's super bad.
Basically, yeah. And somebody said he looks like a kid. Yeah, you're right. It's like, really, dude. That's one thing that it's like. And I get the whole storyline is like he's this wannabe man, and maybe that's why.
That had him.
I mean, also he wasn't
Birthright or something.
Also, the whole thing is that he's not Lex Luthor Senior.
His dad was. Yeah, I hate that.
Because he said himself in the very beginning that like, my dad has such a big ego that he named me and his company after himself.
Checks for Lex. Huh.
So
but what was it? Superman Birthright? Was that the comic that they got the?
No, Superman Birthright was the the
Where's the one
J.J.
where
Abrams.
Luthor looks like Eisenberg? Like he's got the long hair. He's kind of like a side security. There's a comic book that did do that before BBS.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've seen it.
Wait,
I forgot what it's called, but that did the kind of Mark Zuckerberg kind of.
His Birthright? Or the comic?
It's
or...
a Superman comic.
It's a comic.
Yeah, it's a comic book, and they kind of it's an interpretation of Lex. Like, oh, what if he was like a nerdy scientist, frail, kind of whatever.
I see what you're talking about.
Rami Malek. I'll be honest with you, something about Rami Malek just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. His performances are good, but I think it said he's like pushing 40 and he still looks like a teenager. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
It's the eyes, man.
Yeah,
it's
the eyes.
Yeah.
It's his.
And you know what he kind of looks like? Well. Who's that guy? He looks like Pete Davidson a little bit. They look like they could be related to each other.
Yeah, they played each other in an SNL skit.
Oh, really? Yeah,
I didn't. I just pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay. Check that out. But yeah, Supergirl looks good. Yeah. I have one more topic to go through.
Heck yeah.
Oh shit! No, we have two more. But let's talk about this briefly. Talk about censorship real quick. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought the idea of a West Side Story remake was a bad idea, but it's getting really good reviews.
And I'm so mad.
I'm actually gonna go see it this weekend.
F you, asshole.
F you. But the movie got banned in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, all the usual suspects. And I know the answer to this question, but why is it that when these movies are banned in the Middle East for like whatever, but anything that upsets the CCP, we're like, let's change the movie. And I know it's because China has a huge box office. Do you think at some point we should make a movie, meaning us, the United States, and China's like, we're not going to show this unless you change it? We're like, no. We know they do it with movies. They'll do it with Saudi Arabia. They know these people aren't going to go see the movie. And I think maybe there's like a gay relationship in it, and that's why. So maybe that's why. But I wish, like, at some point, people are like, wow, aren't you proud of Spielberg and all for, not censoring the movie to fit the Middle East? I'm like, yeah, but I'd be a little bit more prouder if Disney and DC and Star Wars were like, we're not going to censor it for China either.
Yeah, I mean, well, they did do that. Disney did do that with the Eternals.
Oh, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
they did. They
made no money in China.
You were exactly right, because they got censored because of the gay.
Also because of Chloe Zhao's comments on the Chinese government.
All right, never mind. Good for Marvel. Good for Marvel.
Yeah, so they did. So they are starting to.
And they need to. They really need to. I hate the idea that we would censor our own movies. On one hand, we're telling people to be woke, but then we're like, oh, by the way, they don't like black people and gay people. Let's snip, 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 snip. Next time, like when we make Black Panther 2, I want a poster with all black people in China. If they say no, whatever. They have to kind of make a stand at some point. Like we can't be like we're fighting racism and bigotry, except when it's other countries and we need their money. That's
exactly all. Right. But yeah, no, I do think I know they're starting to.
And look, that despite everything I said, I still appreciate the money that President Xi sends to Jive with Jack. Look, we got rid of justice, just like you asked. So we appreciate the support. And if you ever want to give us money, we will gladly support the CCP. Please use super chats.
Please.
Caden, real quick, you had mentioned a famous artist a writer that unfortunately I'm kind of ashamed to say I did not know who it was. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, George Perez. He's a Marvel and DC artist, a comic book artist, and he recently announced that he has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he has 6 months left to live.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and so this is the story, and he's well known to do the Infinity Gauntlet.
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Crisis Infinite Earth. So he also did some of the 1970s Fantastic Four and.
He's going back then. Wow.
Yeah. And so.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't familiar with who he was. Did you know who he was?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, and he's 67. And he has between 6 months to a year left to live. He has opted not to undergo treatment. And I think He's like, I've been given the option to do chemotherapy and or radiation therapy, but after weighing all the variable and assessing just how much of my remaining days would be eaten up by doctor visits, treatments, hospital stays, and dealing with the often stressful and frustrating bureaucracy of medical system, I've opted just let nature take its course, and I will enjoy whatever time I've left as fully as possible with my family, friends, and fans. The artist, like they say, the artist, he's been married for 40 years. He got married like when he was like 26, 27. And he's like a family man. But yeah, like in January 2019, like it says that he retired due to health issues. And then he, this was him saying, yeah, this is what is happening. Like, I've been going to doctor for 2 years now, and this is the diagnosis. And it really.
I think it's really hard to choose. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Like he said, either he
think it's
deals
hard,
with
like,
the chemotherapy and deals with all those doctor visits and everything, for the rest of his life, or like let nature take its course, and deal with it for a year and then, move on.
Yeah. That is a tough decision, though. I still say it's a brave decision, but like, and that's sad to hear. I did not know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like I was like, oh yeah, him. Yeah, I got his books right there. Might have some books of his, but I did not know who it was until Austin or Caden. You just told me. Maybe our community should do some sort of appreciation stream for his work. You guys have his work, maybe?
Because George Perez, like
he wrote Infinity Gauntlet.
He did the art for it.
Okay, well, I have that.
Yeah, he's
okay.
And he and Mark Wolfman are the ones that created the Teen Titans and Deathstroke. So like, he's.
How have I not heard of his name then?
Artists tend to be like the underliers. The writers are the ones that are like, oh, Jim Lee and like Jim Lee, he does art. He also writes, so it's like people know him rather than
Todd McFarlane because he ended up becoming a writer. He was an artist.
And people know Rob Liefeld for his writing rather than his art.
Okay, that is true.
But like at the same time, Rob Liefeld has terrible art, so that's another reason why.
Let me ask you this: was he still working prior to this, or had he retired?
He retired in 2019.
Oh, there it says right there. I'm looking right at it. He retired in 2019.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shame. And you know what? Maybe that's not a bad idea, T.W. McKay. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I should do it because I don't want to be like, like Wikipediaing him and like, yes, he did this and this.
But yeah, like George Perez was like an amazing guy. But life happens, and like you said, like in 2019 he retired. He hasn't done a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's
but still, like
really
2019 was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So he's 65. To keep working till you're 65,
it's he's been working for a while.
Yeah, since the 70s. Wow. Imagine all the things he has seen. He was in a world before The Dark Knight Returns, Just think about like how different comics were in the 70s is where things really started changing.
He was the artist for the Fantastic Four comics, and he was I think the first issue where Namor appeared in the Fantastic Four. He drew that, and it was just like he was part of like the biggest comics. Like big deal comics, and it's it's really sad and it's heartbreaking. And like he says, this is not a message I enjoyed writing, especially during the holiday season. But oddly enough, I'm feeling the Christmas spirit more than I have in many years. Maybe it's because it will likely be my last, or maybe because I'm enveloped in loving arms of so many who love me as much I love them. It's quite uplifting to be told that you've led a good life and you've brought joy to so many lives, and you'll be living the world with a better place because you are a part of it. Wow. And it's very true. He's put a mark on so many people. And, and it's without him, we wouldn't have the Teen Titans. Without him, we wouldn't have Deathstroke. Without him, we wouldn't have Crisis on Infinite Earths. The way they are, the way it's drawn. The way.
And I'm kind of ashamed that I did not know who he was until just now, or like earlier. Kane's like, oh, by the way, George Perez died. I'm like, oh, okay. Who's George Perez? Like, that's just how out of touch I am. And I'll be honest with you, every time I read a comic, I rarely look at who drew it. Like it was like, oh, Neil Gaiman wrote this. I'm like, oh, excellent. I rarely look at who drew it. That's my own fault. I should be paying attention to the artist because, you know, a lot of it is the visuals of it. But that's pretty crazy. So keep them in your prayers. You know, family. You know, life is short.
Life is short.
Yeah. You know what? While I have you guys here, keep a friend of mine in your prayers. He's a police officer. He's got a huge family. He's got kids from age 21 to like 6.
Wow.
And yeah, he's a huge family. Really nice guy. I know all his children. His 18-year-old daughter just started college and was killed 2 nights ago and hit by someone who was speeding.
What?
Drunk driving. Yeah. I wasn't going to bring that up today, but like, talk about George Perez.
Talking about kids. Nick Cannon announced that his 5-month-old son passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
Brain tumor.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awful. Here's my message from all this. If there's anyone in your lives that you're fighting with or arguing with or not talking to, really put that BS aside. You know, friendships and family are losing, and then something like these things happen. You don't get a second chance.
I was watching a movie where like the whole thing with like Uncle Ben and Peter. It shows
Peter, great example.
It's like Peter lied to Uncle Ben right before he died. And both Spider-Man 1 and Shazam, they ended off on a good end, and that's the whole reason why he is who he is.
Yeah,
and it's just you don't want to say I hate you, or you don't want to say anything bad to a person because you don't know when you're going to talk to them last.
Yeah, it's a very powerful message. I had one more topic that was like 3 seconds long. I'm not even going to do a transition for it, but and then we'll end the show. Good show today, though. I did get to see a movie that I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it because it's not my type of movie, but I did see it because it was directed by Ridley Scott. And I thought I uploaded pictures. Yes, I did. We talked about it at the beginning, but I highly recommend this film. I think Lady Gaga should at this moment. I haven't seen any other Oscar contenders. She is phenomenal in this movie. Her acting chops are crazy. Everyone in this movie is really good, but her, Adam Driver, and Jared Leto. Again, there's no pew pew pew. There's no stuff blowing up, but just well written.
Well, there is one pew pew pew.
Yeah, there is one pew pew. By the way, without ruining it, I did not know that story.
Right, neither did I.
I did not know that story. I'm like, wait, what happens? And like, holy crap, this actually happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did not know this story because when I was talking about Versace getting shot, that was a huge deal. I didn't know that something like that happened.
The funny thing is, the character Lady Gaga plays, came out and criticized the movie.
Yeah, she did. She's out of jail, by the way.
She's out of jail, and she said, she says, "Oh, I think the movie's very disrespectful and all this other stuff." And Ridley,
Lady Gaga never contacted her.
And Ridley came out and responded and said, "I think she forgot that she killed somebody."
And did he say also
I will say this
or something like that?
Ridley's movie, look, it's wrong to kill someone. Really, at least the way I watched it, not knowing the story, kind of gave her position really strongly. Like you're kind of on her side for the whole thing. Granted, I did not know where it was going. At first, I'll be honest with you, the Italian accents kind of threw me off because these guys don't have those accents. I mean, I know Lady Gaga ethnically is Italian American. Adam Driver is American. I don't know what his background is, but they're talking like this. Sometimes I was waiting for someone to say, "It's me, Mario."
Hey, Mario, yeah, exactly.
I got used to it. Like after a while, I was like, I got through it. Jared Leto hams it up.
Jared Leto.
He really hams it up. I was like, I was throwing over there. You make me cry now. Like it's almost over the top.
Right.
I'm your son.
It's Chica.
Highly recommend it, guys. I know we talk about but the people watching, we tend to talk more about action-based movies, but I think it's a really well-written drama film, like family drama that is based on stuff that actually happened. Directed by Ridley Scott, gorgeous to look at, really well shot. Capturing that 70s and 80s vibe. The way people dressed and how these fashion brands mean so much. Like there's a scene in the movie where she discovers knockoff Gucci purses. like being sold. And she goes to what's his name, to Al Pacino. She's like, "Are we allowing this?" He's like, "Yeah, whatever." She's like, "No, that's our name brand, and it may look just as good, but there's something different when we do it. Like, kind of sells like the whole like we should be cracking down on the whole what is it? It's not piracy. What is it called? What's the word when you like knock off Gucci or Versace? Knockoffs, I guess they're just called
knockoff. Yeah, that's what I know.
Yeah, like knockoff Gucci, and she gets mad. She buys a whole, and then he's like, "Yeah, it's actually pretty good." She's like, "No, what is Gucci? This is Gucci." And I did not know like the story about it, how it ends and everything. But phenomenal film. Definitely check it out. Maybe catch a cheap matinee. It's a good 2.5 hours, but really, really, really good drama.
Yeah,
well done drama. And I haven't seen a movie like that in a while. And then I'm going to go see West Side Story this weekend. All right, folks. Thank you for sticking around today. I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate my co-host Austin. I appreciate my producer Caden Reed. I want to thank Tyler for all the work he does behind the scenes. I thank all of you for sticking through it. I appreciate it. Tyler's doing something tomorrow. Not exactly sure what. Caden, get the button ready. But make sure you tune in. Thursday we'll be back for Giant with Jack. Austin, you got anything planned?
Yeah, Comic Nerd Raves. With the usual, check that out. Little Big City Studios Network. Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. It's a real fun time with me and the guys, just kind of going over Marvel stuff and the DC stuff. It's all that show is like all comic book based and stuff, or comic book movie related or IP like Star Wars or Star Trek. So definitely check that out if you're into that. Thursday, I got the Big Bet podcast. If you're into some sports and if you're watching the football, who's your team again, Jack?
Eagles.
Yeah, you suck. I'll
be honest, I'm a baseball guy.
But definitely check that out if you're into some sports. And then this Friday we got a watch party of the night before, so that's gonna be a lot of fun too.
Kate, do me a favor, if you can put a link in the chat, so those of you who do not know about Austin's channel, definitely check it out.
Also, this Friday we also have a watch party.
Christmas watch party.
Die Hard.
Oh yes, the Christmas
idea, by the way.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. We're watching Die Hard this Friday. We're also gonna have a mini discussion before we watch the movie about Die Hard and how it is a Christmas movie. Take that, whoever thinks it's not. But yeah, we're having a little discussion about why Die Hard is the best Christmas movie ever, and how it's. We're gonna have some few laughs. Go out to the coast. A few laughs.
Benson says,
if you have not seen Die Hard, it's a great way to watch it. By the way, folks, any movies we do show, we purchase legally. So, we're doing that for you guys. So, there's your link, guys. If you don't follow Austin's channel, just click on it and give it a subscribe.
We will be doing a giveaway, too, for the 100 subscribers and stuff.
We're going to give away Caden.
Yeah, we're going to give away Caden.
What?
We're going to give away Caden. We are going to ship him out priority mail to you wherever you are.
I did not.
He will be bubble wrapped and all, and it's going to be a good time. But yeah, guys, definitely, I like Benson. I hope that guy hasn't suffocated in your secret room, Austin. No, he's fine. I heard him scream a little bit ago. So
hey. Oh wait, you can't hear me. Oh,
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Kasuka, I'm glad you stuck around. Eagles and Nani, what does that mean?
Naughty. Naughty.
Does it mean anything? I'm not hip with the kids yet.
I'm not hip with. I don't know the lingo of the youngins of today.
For all I know, this could be an Eagles player, and I don't really watch football that
much. Jack was actually born in 1948.
Yeah, 48. Yep. That's some pretty good aging right there. Well, all right, guys.
Yeah, fountain of youth, man. It's
all right, guys. Thank you for sticking around. Remember, we do it for you, and we do it
for the cookies. The culture.
The culture. And the money.